Let Women Speak, an examination of mainstream media bias in New Zealand. On March 25th, 2023, Kelly J. Keane Minshall, also known as Posey Parker, was scheduled to speak at the Let Women Speak event at Albert Park in Auckland. A riot broke out where Kelly J. and other women at the event were assaulted and fled in fear for their lives. TVNZ1 News reporting portrayed a very different version of the event. Anti-trans activist. New Zealand mainstream media continue to refer to Kelly J as anti-trans. Kelly J is a women's rights campaigner who claims to promote the rights of women over a far-left gender ideology that she proposes is encroaching upon women's rights.
How I called you the women's rights campaigner. That is what you are, right? But I certainly didn't say, gender critical activist or whatever. Why shouldn't I say that in your case?
Well, because I like to centre women in everything that I do, and so women's rights campaigner is simply what I do. I defend women's rights. I'm not going to allow anyone to take them. And if I start saying that I'm an anti-trans or a gender critical, I'm sort of allowing the conversation to be about something other than women.
Yeah.
And so I think these terms are quite clinical as far as I'm concerned, and women is my absolute thing.
What is the extent of the danger to women at the moment, do you think?
If I was arrested this afternoon and they thought I was had any drugs on me, if that police officer says he's female, no matter what he looks like, he is allowed to intimately search my person. So, and then you've got gaslighting of girls in schools, you've got girls not being able to have any of their sports, any of their spaces. I mean, everything that women have carved out for ourselves with regard to our safety, our privacy and our dignity is completely under threat.
How do you and how does this government define a woman?
To be honest, Sean, that question's come slightly out of left field for me. Biology, sex, gender. People define themselves, people define their own genders.
Keir Starmer has said that he believes 99.9% of women do not have penises. And I know it's a strange thing for him to say, but given recent events in New Zealand, I'd ask again, how do you define what a woman is?
Well, I think as I've just indicated, I wasn't expecting that question, so it's not something that I've pre-formulated an answer on. But in terms of gender identity, I think people define their gender identity for themselves.
Is Kelly J a far-right extremist? New Zealand mainstream media continue to construct a false narrative that Kelly J is a Nazi. TV3's News Hub producer William Hewitt and reporter Janaka Te Allen altered video footage to falsely portray Kelly J as a far-right activist and later removed the footage from TV3's online video archives.
Anyway, let's get back to News Hub and their incredibly sophisticated journalism.
Has issued direct threats to the Prime Minister.
I tell you what, Chris.
Using a hand signal linked to white supremacists, which we've chosen to blur.
Revoke my visa. At your peril.
Wait, what? Kelly J. Keane has previously described white supremacy and racism as having no place in a civilised society. So if she was lying about that and wanted to keep her evil views secret, why would she start making overt white power gestures with her hand? None of this makes sense until you take away the blurring effect that News Hub have put on the clip. NewsHub would like you to believe that this is the OK symbol, which has been co-opted by certain far-right groups. But when you watch the original footage, you can see she's just adjusting the zip on her top.
Let me just tell you this. Revoke my visa at your peril.
But of course, by blurring it out, NewsHub can make it look a lot more sinister. As the commentator and podcaster Stephen Knight pointed out on his latest Substack, in that same video, Keane goes on to defend the speech rights of Maori women. As Knight puts it, that's an odd flex for someone intending to signal to their white supremacist supporters.
Violence at the event. Why didn't the police intervene earlier? New Zealand mainstream media continue to fail to report violence at the event, and why the police didn't intervene.
And at that point, I ran around and out through the crowd, and probably no one noticed who I was because everyone else had orange jackets on and I had a pink one on. And I'm little, and I can run under people's legs and no one even notices. And I ran back to Sergeant Sean Richardson, and I said, by that stage, Kelly J was on the stage. It was obvious to me that these women were trapped. The fences were down. We were outnumbered 100 to 1, and no one could get out. They were just trapped. They were just pushing people back. I ran up to Sean Richardson and I said, can you come and help us? There are women getting hurt in there. Kelly's is trapped in there. No one can get out. He said to me, we are not here to protect you.
Can you just say that again? So you go to the Sergeant Richardson, Sean Richardson. Yes. You say women are trapped, people are getting hurt, and his response was?
We're not here to protect you. That's not our job. And he stood over me. He's easy 6'2". Look, 10-year-olds stand over me. He looked down at me and said that he looked straight ahead, and after he delivered that, he looked straight ahead and he ignored me.
Well, look, there were a handful of us that were observing at the park on Saturday, and as it descended into turmoil there, we went back and said, look, we need to contact our people and let them know what happened here. We put out blasts straight away and had a public letter that has reached over 16,000 signatures in just over 24 hours. So it shows the...
what does that letter say, Jonathan?
So this is a public letter that we've sent to the Minister of Police and to the Police Commissioner, saying that this is really the police's fault. Now, of course, there are aspects of Chanel Lal and Max Tweedy, their leadership here, what the role of the media has been, but actually at the end of the day, those aspects are always going to feature. We needed police to make sure that despite that, one side could hold their meeting while the other side protested it, and we could all go home for lunch. And that didn't happen. I was standing next to one of the police in charge of just those on the ground there, and a woman came up to him as the mob had surrounded the rotunda, and she said, they are being crushed in there, you have to do something. And the policeman said, if Posey Parker feels unsafe, she needs to leave. This is a public space. We can't do anything. And that's actually the exact opposite of the
So
role.
you're telling me firsthand, Jonathan, you saw the police literally stand by and do nothing?
Oh, Sean, the video evidence of police standing by and doing nothing is incontrovertible. It's patently clear. What was so chilling to me, I wrote that quote down because it was so concerning to me, was me overhearing them say, this is a public space. If she feels unsafe, she needs to leave. We're not doing anything.
Conclusion. What can we do? Share and like this video so the truth can get out there and there's less chance of it being taken down. When commenting on this video, be kind, logical, and factual. Truth and honesty will prevail.